Alright gamers, no long intros, no annoying advertisements, I'm Shield Maiden and I'm gonna get you through the Root of Nightmares raid. Cataclysm. You're gonna need one person for the node connection and everyone else can be on ad clear / tormentor duty. For the node connection, you just start by standing in the field of light and shooting the orb above you. This will give the field of light buff, allowing you to connect each node in a chain. When you connect 2 orbs, the buff falls off of you, so you have to go back and claim it after each connection. You can follow the beam of light coming off of the orb to find where the next link in the sequence is going to be. You'll be looking for a silver fluid-like orb above the plate. For ad clear, your job here is to locate 2 shielded scions and kill them. This will cause a tormentor to spawn on one side of the room and an anti-barrier champion to spawn on the opposite. Call out the tormentor and focus them down. Sweeping terror is your timer. When it ends, you wipe, but killing the tormentor extends that timer. There's 4 total sets of nodes that need to be connected. Each set, the number of nodes will be increased. For a loadout, add clear weapons and supers, and the runner may want some movement tech like Eager Edge, Icarus Dash, etc. Scission. Split up into 2 teams of 3, one on the left side and one on the right. One player on each side is going to be a runner, while the other 2 players on each side are going to be ad clear. Imminent expulsion is the wipe timer. Runners. Your job is to connect the nodes with either Field of Light or Flux of Darkness. Acquire your buff the same way you did in the previous encounter and connect the nodes. The nodes will be on either side of the chasm, so you'll have to use the catapults to shoot yourself across. When all of the nodes are connected, each of them will pulse, and the final node will glow with one of the 2 buffs. If you're not a runner, you're clearing ads. There's going to be enemies that are immune to you unless you have a Field of Light or a Flux of Darkness buff. You'll need to meet up with one of your side's runners to gather this. Do not shoot the node to collect the buff yourself, because that will disrupt your teammate and can cause a wipe. Each side will meet up at the end of each floor, collect the buff once more, kill the surrounding ads, and then go to the next level. There's 3 total levels to clear until you get some loot. Planets. You're going to have 2 teams of 3. One person on each side will be ad clear, other 2 will be runners. There's very little room for error during this encounter. The goal here is to swap planets from one side to the other, ensuring that each side is either all light or all dark. There are a few different buffs you'll be working with. Planetary Insight lets you see the colors of the planets. You gain this insight by killing a lieutenant. Planetary Attunement and Alignment is shown when you're picking up or depositing a planet. Planetary Shift is a timer that tells you how long you have to finish moving the planets. Clear ads around the room. In front, there will be a pair of Centurions. When they're killed, a pair of Lieutenants will spawn under the planets on either side of the room, so that's 4 total. When the Lieutenants are killed, call out the planets that need to be swapped. Once the planets are identified, the runners will pick up their planet and run it to the opposite side of the room to deposit. After all the planets are deposited, kill the Centurions and Lieutenants and look to the middle 3 planets. You'll need to pull from each side depending on the color. The runners will pull the planets from their side and deposit on the plates in the middle. Once all of the planets are deposited, prep for a damage phase. Start under whatever planet color you have 2 of. So if you have 2 dark planets and 1 light, start under a dark planet, then move to light and then to dark again. You have 7 seconds to do as much as you can under each plate. After DPS, repeat all of the mechanics. At final stand, damage will stop for a few seconds. Stand on a plate to gain your buff for damage. The timer is very long, so you don't really need to worry about wiping. There's also a crux floating at the top of the room that can be shot to speed up the planet swaps. For loadout, just wells and damage supers, meta DPS weapons, div and tractor cannon are pretty optional. Nezerac. You're going to have 2 runners, 1 on each side, and 3 people will clear ads. You'll need 1 person who's going to hold Nezerac's gaze. Runners will connect the nodes the same way you've been doing it the entire raid. Ad clear will need to keep up with ads to ensure the rest of the team's success. Gaze holder, you're going to tank Nez to keep him off the rest of the team. Shooting his chest will stun him. If Nez's gaze is not taken while on the platform, it will cause all other players to bounce around from it and runners will have a hard time doing their job. Shooting his shoulders will also cause him to glow either light or dark. This tells us which refuge buff you need to survive his wipe mechanic. If Nez glows light, you need to collect Light's refuge by taking the darkness to a light node. If Nez glows dark, collect the darkness refuge by taking the light buff to a dark node. All players will stack up under the node being shot, gaining the refuge buff. Staying in the field will cause the buff to not fall off, but if you leave, your buff starts to fall off. Once both runners have finished their respective node connections, everyone will meet up for a damage phase. Nez will be blasted with the beam of light and damage will start. Subsequent rounds of mechanics will need to be completed quicker than the last, so refuge buffs will be necessary. For final stand, the damage will stop for a few seconds. Let Nez enrage and then nuke him. For loadouts, well and damaged supers, meta DPS weapons, the gaze holder may want a sniper to deal with crit points. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, subscribe, and check out the videos on screen for more Destiny 2 content. Bye!